are. Well, Lynda, it's Friday. Dr. Gordon and Lynda coming at you from Facebook Friday, Southeastern Fertility.
Together again.
Together again. How are you doing?
Naturally. No.
All right, that's right. Yeah, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
All right, good. Y'all did well on 2 Facebook Fridays while I was gone. You had Sarah come in and stick needles and people.
Sarah,
That was good.
Sarah's
Yeah,
cool.
she's chill, right? And then y'all did a little, the following week, you also did a little chatteroo there on staying flexible.
I was
You're flexible?
flexible, huh?
You're flexible about that. That's right, they were flexible about it.
They were
Yeah,
flexible.
they were,
I
yeah.
wasn't here.
Yeah, so it was good. So
That's good.
yeah, we had a big trip.
Good
I
job.
did not go to the ASRM meeting. We went the other direction. So that was on the west coast, and I went east, really far east.
Really
Yeah.
east.
So we went. We
But
went
not to the far east.
not to the far east. We'd never been to Spain. Went to Barcelona,
Oh,
and
that would be
went
awesome.
went to Paris, and then we went to London and England. It was wonderful.
Cool.
It was a great trip.
Yeah, you sent some good pictures.
We did. We had a good time. We had a good time, and you guys, checked in with y'all pretty much every day, and you guys were doing a fine job. But
Fine job.
I did have I had an experience in Barcelona that was not your typical tourist experience, and
Oh,
now,
yeah?
yeah, and
Tell us about this.
part of Barcelona will always be with me, Lynda.
Oh, yeah?
It will, yeah, and this
In your heart?
no, not in my heart, in some other part of me. So let's see. Here's my.
I'm just not even going to go there. I'm waiting
Not
for
that
you
part,
to
right? So here's for those concerned about dental imagery. This is the part of Barcelona that is with me now. So this is my root canal that got performed in Barcelona on the Friday that I was there.
The first day you were there?
Second day.
Second day?
We're there,
Oh.
and
Just your luck.
yeah, they don't speak Spanish. They speak Catalan. Because that region of Spain has had a movement for secession from the rest of Spain, kind of like Texas, the United States. So it's like, except in Texas, they do sort of speak a different language, but in Catalonia they do speak a different language, and so it wasn't even in Spanish. Not that I speak very good Spanish. I speak obstetrical Spanish. That's not very helpful. No empuje, respire profundo. So anyway, it was. But it was, I did everything I could to avoid this experience, and so I was getting ready to go on our trip, and I had this pain, and I was thinking like, this is like the pain that I've gotten when I've had to have root canals in the past.
And I remember.
Yeah, and so you remember I was unhappy, and I got early morning on Monday, I went to the dentist, and I was sitting there in the parking lot till they opened, and I said, I need to be seen, I'm concerned about this, and I said, well, we can get some tooth sensitivity, and we think that, you just change this, fluoride toothpaste, and we'll see what happens, and I was like, okay, and then I was not really getting that much better, and then Tuesday came, we were running around crazy, getting everything ready to go. And then Wednesday we were flying out, and man, I was starting to up my Motrin intake. I mean, I was taking 800 4 times a day, which is the maximum human dose. And then we got to Barcelona on Thursday. It was even worse, and so then I went to the pharmacy. You just buy stuff at the pharmacy. You don't need to have prescriptions or anything. And so I said, I got Tylenol, and I was taking. They come in 1,000 milligram.
Really?
Tabs. So I've taken 4,000 of Tylenol, staggering it with that, and as soon as it would get within 5-6 hours, start to wear off, start to hurt again.
Oh,
so
man.
Friday morning I got up and I said, I'm hurting. I need to. I know,
He
I know. You think I'm kind of a weenie, but I'm just telling you, okay.
Oh, it hurts.
And
Yeah.
so went there, and so I Googled it. I Googled endodontist in Barcelona, read the reviews in this one clinic. They said a couple of reviews from travelers who had broken teeth or something like that. They did a nice job. And so called them up and said, we close at 2 o'clock, but we'll see if we can work in as an emergency. And this is a good thing. See, so Catalonia, this part of Spain, is kind of driven by capitalism, and the rest of Spain is kind of socialist, right? So, man, if you were in a social part of Spain, it'd be like, good luck, pal. Okay? But this is the capital part. I said, sure, come on in, right? And so went, and they were very nice. They called me back. They got me in as an emergency. It was a very, very nice clinic, and it was amazing. And they did a great job. And they did speak. The doctor spoke English. The staff not so much. It was funny. She was like interpreting for the staff, and they did. You were never as happy to see a dentist as you are when you were in pain that need something like a root canal.
Yes.
Because you definitely, it's not like when you're feeling good, you go to the dentist and you hurt because you had a filling done. Like you're in pain and you go and then they make you feel better.
Yes.
And so
They're
anyway,
the best.
So anyway, it went fine, and now part of Spain, part of Barcelona will travel with me until that tooth goes the way. But our waiter the night before I went to the dentist, so the waiter the night before we went had only 2 teeth in his bottom jaw. Okay, and so the friends we're traveling with are like, well, good luck tomorrow, and the woman's like, we may not be able to save his tooth, and I'm like texting my wife, and I'm like, well, I may be on my way to look like our waiter last night, but she did a great job. Dennis did a great job. So if you need recommendations for emergency dental care in Barcelona, I've got it. And they said, we're so sorry, but of course you have to pay cash because of that. And so I went to pay cash, $500. $500 for all the X-rays, the root canal, the whole thing. $500.
It's pretty good.
That's much less than your copay.
Yeah.
Here, I have good dental insurance. It's less than the copay. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. So here's the thing. So today's thing. So I was, Alice and I were talking about it, and I said, I'm just, how can my doctor miss this? And how can my dentist just not see that? And I just felt like, that it should have been something that was, easily avoidable, right? And she's like, what's happened to you? Like, oh no! And she's, well, what about the patient with the ectopic that you was pretty sure wasn't ectopic and then ends up rupturing? I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Because besides that, it doesn't happen to me. So I mean, it does, but it does, and that's you want your doctor, of course, to be perfect. You want for everyone to see it, and even though I sort of saw this coming and everything to avoid having to have a root canal in a foreign country, I ended up with a root canal in a foreign country. Okay, I mean, so in spite of everything, and the only thing I say is that I said, I don't know. I thought I was being quite clear to my dentist here, saying, this is exactly how I felt when I had a root canal, before I needed a root canal, and I felt he's like, yeah, whatever, it's just dental sensitivity, and I'm just like, man, there's that adage, if all else fails, listen to the patient, listen to the patient, and sometimes the patient isn't correct, or they're just a little bit spun up because they've had something happen that makes them worried about it and turn out not to be the case. But I mean, if all fails, listen to the patient. Listen to the patient.
Well, coming from an oncology background, you just can't dismiss anything.
Yeah.
You have to check it out because there's so many things, and so from that background, listen to the patient.
Yeah.
Same thing when you're starting out these.
Right.
Which is your best thing.
That's the one, right? That's the one, right?
That's
so, look at this big one over here. Let's go for that one. Yeah. So I don't know. It was an interesting experience, and as I said, I think that
it's awful being on the other side of it, isn't it?
It is, and I mean, as much as we struggle sometimes with Google, right, Mark, in terms of the Google reviews, but I will say, this ability to read those reviews and say, yep, they did, here's well trained, and basically to use the web to find a clinic where they have an endodontist. You know what an endodontist is?
Yes, I've had root canals before.
Yeah, right. So a specialist, that just, does, it just. And you've got to have, good skills to do that. You're working it's like working tiny piece. So anyway, it was an experience, but.
And so the moral to that is, as patients, if you feel like we're not listening to you, just
slap them around.
Say, Dr. Gordon, you're not listening to me. But let me know before you do it, because I'm
Well, I mean, exactly. We do try and listen. Yeah, and that's exactly, and I think that's and sometimes it just doesn't match. And we had that one ectopic recently that became symptomatic at an incredibly low HCG level that I'd never honestly really seen in like 27 years of practice. And you say, I've been in practice 27 years, I've never seen that. Well, now I have. I have. Like, and probably that patient probably thinks I'm an idiot. but you know, I mean, you know, it's just, but still, it's just like, you know, you just, and I think part of that, and this has been an issue that has been written about in medicine too, is that, you know, in other words, you have your blinders on, right? You say, you know, this weenie is complaining about tooth pain. It's just sensitivity from enamel, right? And then you ignore, or perhaps you don't do additional testing. Because I was like, I don't know, man. I mean, they were like, you know, tap, tap, and I'm like, what? That's like, that's a tooth. I mean, that's not dental sensitivity, you know? And they got some sort of, I mean, they're saying, like, you know, I mean, but if you lock in on this is the diagnosis, then you may miss that part that's really the truth, you know? So
that's misery.
So the good news is that if only I had rescheduled my insurance physical exam, because as we're, you know, going to be doing some stuff in the office and all that, you know, I'm going to up my life insurance. just in case. So, and they came in.
Me like he thinks I'm the one that's gonna.
I'm just saying, okay, if I, you know, if I come to an untimely end, I'm not saying it was Lynda, but I'm just saying Lynda should be on the list, just, you know, just to be checked out. But, you know, I mean, I've shrunk and I'm fat. I mean, I gained weight and I shrunk, which I mean, I know my posture has been suffering, but I was like, come on, I gotta be taller than that. And then I've never weighed that, you know? And so now,
I'm with you.
Yeah, but now, between getting my root canal, not being able to eat very well, and then some of the issues I dealt with after I returned, which we won't get into because nobody needs to know about those issues. But now I dropped like almost like 13, 14 pounds.
I was gonna say, you don't look like you put on weight.
That's because
I
lost them.
Yeah.
I lost those 14 pounds.
That's a great thing about stress.
So you found them? So if only I had done my insurance exam like after all this, then I would have been higher. I still don't smoke, but I mean, you know, it's just that would have been a better category. But so I guess the lesson is if all else fails, listen to the patient. Right? It's a lesson for me as a doctor. Say, Dr. Gordon, you're not listening. You know, this is, you know, my teeth are itching and my nose is crinkling, and that's what always happens, you know, when, you know, X, Y, or Z happens to me, right? And then also just to be, you know, just to realize that we're not perfect. You know, we strive to be perfect as best we can, but we're not, right? And I was, you know, Allison's point was like, you can't beat him up because you've been in there too, you know, where you just, things, you know, you didn't know at the time. It was only, you know, given enough time for things to play out that you realize, that's why you were having the pain. You know, your entire tooth was broken all the way in half, which you would have thought somebody would have noticed, but I guess they just didn't. But I know, right? I know. I tried so desperately. So you know, it's like, you know, the toothbrush was invented in that part of Catalonia. Yeah. Invented elsewhere, they call it the teeth brush. Right?
That was a good one.
That's right.
That was good.
That was just based on it was concerning to me that our waiter had no teeth.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sure it was.
It's probably why I was pushing the soup. What do you enjoy? I enjoy the soup.
Milkshakes, right?
Well, anyway, you've wasted another 11 minutes of your life, the four of you who watch Facebook Fridays, so that's good. And it's good to be back, and I'm glad that part of Barcelona will be with me. I mean, what a great souvenir. I mean, you know, you never wear out, you know, for at least until as long as I have that tooth. So I'll always be there, you know. I can take pictures of it every year and check on it.
And send it back.
And send it back. You know,
Yes.
all right. Well, anyway, anybody needing dental emergency care in Barcelona, recommendations, we'll post it on Facebook, so you can check out the NARC Dental Clinic and their address. And I plan on sending them a Christmas card every year.
There you go.
That's great.
That's right.
That's great.
Well, anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Go Vols. All right. #1 in the country.
Whoa.
Yes.
Woo.
and playing
Why aren't
Georgia
you- yeah.
Bulldogs?
Yeah, why aren't you wearing your
Cause you
orange?
make me wear this.
Well, I'm just a mean type of guy. What can I say?
Oh,
All right.
hard master.
All right.